because it was one of those. I am more of a talking person. I like to go out there and meet the community and do social IT rather than programming. And SQL was more of the coding bit. I did do it though. So
Stanley, you got anything from what she's been saying?
Yes.
Are you versed with what she said?
Well, I'm very much versed.
Okay.
When she talks about ICT and she says ICT is a broad field, that I very much understand it. Because when you look at Cisco, for example, Cisco is just part of ICT, which has to do with networking as a specialty. So I know in ICT, because I am talking here in my capacity as the head of department for ICT in the CTEC. So I know that there are so many specialties in there, because even in CTEC we do offer networking and maintenance.
Okay.
We offer programming, we offer database management, like what she has just mentioned.
Okay.
And so on and so forth.
Okay, so we're going to move a little bit away from ICT. We just want that Victorine, please, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? You talk a lot about charity, so can we just know a little bit about you and charity? First, about University of
Wolverhampton.
Wolverhampton. Where is that?
Well,
where is it?
University of Wolverhampton is located in the West Midlands. We call it the Black Country in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And
there are so many blacks there.
Yes, there are actually. We've got a large community from Nigeria and Cameroon and Ghana, but Nigeria is dominating.
Okay.
University of Wolverhampton, I always say this is a university to be proud of. I've studied in this university for 4 years, and I'm going to talk about myself and how this university changed my life forever. Mm-hmm. So, Wolverhampton University, I went in 2008 to study IT. Mm-hmm. And in the course of my studies, because like I say, I like voluntary work, I like doing charity, things that help people. Mm-hmm. I then went on to voluntary work, which I work with the radio house to start up as a first-year student.
But I hear that, in the Western world, if I call it like that, it's not very easy for a black to go work in radio, on TV, and so on.
Yes, but I like challenges because I like to do the things that help. This is WCR.
So were you was there any form of racism?
No.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's a lovely community, and within my university and outside of the university, I keep saying I've been really favored. I'll tell you why. Well, I did all lots of this voluntary work, like radio house. I was a radio reporter for a period of time.
What about reports were you doing?
You could go to this radio because it's voluntary and pick up a project that is going on. And the one I spoke about and interviewed people around all over the UK, because they were located in different places by phone, was the one for Banning UK, which I'm the vice president at the moment. Banning UK.
Banning UK.
Yes.
What is it all about?
Banning UK is an organization of people who came from, in Boy Division. They group themselves together to do projects and raise their children and help charitable activities back home and so on. Mm-hmm. So I took up that project with the radio to advertise their fundraising, which was very successful in Coventry, still in the United Kingdom, in the Midlands.
Okay, before you move on, I would just love to table logo, please. Can we have the theme and, of course, the telephone numbers? We're not getting even the names of our guests. So please let us have the theme, the telephone number, and the names of our guests on the screen. Yeah.
Okay. So I went on with this voluntary work, and then went like student who welcome new students to university, which was quite exciting because students come in and they do not know where to go. So I was placed at the position because I'm a very people's person, So I went around and to say yes.
Yeah, a very what person?
Very people's person. Somebody who, yes. Interpersonal skills.
Wow.
Yeah, I will fit in anywhere. So I did that bit and then did blended learning. And then in my third year, where I was supposed to go and do a placement, IT placement in the UK is a placement where you work for 1 year in an organization and they pay you. You actually get good money as compared to Cameroon. But in my case, I had these 3 lovely ladies, Christina, Andrea and Ellie, who helped me to look for a placement. I didn't get one. And at the end of the day, I chose to do a voluntary placement. And luckily I did. So I went to the Heaven in Wolverhampton, which is an organization, charitable organization, dealing with people, with women with domestic violence, and I helped them with their ICT. That's when I actually practiced the switch, like my colleague said earlier, using those switch and networking cables and things. So I did all general IT for 1 year. And at the end of that experience, my university was looking for, because there's active volunteer department in the university, and they were looking for somebody who had volunteered for at least 50 hours. So then my hours had actually shot off, because within that year I was helping Banning UK like the vice chair. I was vice chair for the NFU, which is Family Union. So they put those hours together, which brought me to the winner of the Volunteer Award of the Year for the University of Wolverhampton, which was quite big. When I won this award, then the university then picked the name of the winner, of the 5 nominated, and sent forward to the nation. And then I had that gold award, the Santander, they call it out there. And I was the winner of that award as well, which then brought me to the realization that after doing all this back in the UK, it's my time to give back home. And that's what brought me here to Cameroon.
Thank you very much. Any reactions, Stanley?
Well,
you got her story.
Yeah, I got her
Somebody
story.
Who decided to volunteer.
It's really a striking one, and it's very difficult to see a Cameroonian who is actually going to volunteer, because in most cases we have Cameroonians who want to go out there and work for money. When you talk about volunteerism, it's like they don't want to understand it. They don't even just understand what that work means. So I really appreciate her courage, and I think it's a good one.
Okay. Vicky, before you left for the UK, what were you doing at first?
You mean when I left to come here?
Yeah, before you left for the UK,
for
because
the
you've been
UK.
there for 11 years.
Ooh, that's an interesting story. I was actually a Reverend sister, you know. Well, not professed Reverend sister. I was with the
Stanley, so you get it?
Yes.
Now you're sitting right beside a nun.
Well, that was not now.
Okay.
I was a Reverend sister. I joined the congregation of the Sisters of Christ, who are based in Cameroon. I visited them in Kongsamba when I landed in Cameroon last week.
Okay.
And it was fun. Yeah, I was a sister, and I worked, I was training. I couldn't say a professed sister. Then within my training as to become a Reverend sister, I did finish my novitiate, but changed my mind because I felt that within the convent community or environment, you have to keep some vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience. And the vow I found really difficult was that obedience, because I believe so much in giving. I remember when the sisters sent me to Prison Central Kondengi to do a stage there, and when I worked there...
Done internship?
Yes, I did work in Kondengi, and in this Yaoundé, I went to the streets in the night and gathered the street children, l'enfant de la rue, and I went around to the Hotel de Ville and looked for prostitutes in the night.